What is going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. In this one, I am going to be doing another Man Talk Q&A, answering questions from you guys, my subscribers and followers. So without further ado, let's get into the first question. What does your family think about your success in life? My family is very, very proud and supportive of me. I would say that my parents are the only reason why I am where I am right now. My dad is a pastor, and they were genuinely the best parents that a person could ask for. I think that they did everything right when it came to raising me and my siblings, and I still get messages from my dad to this day that say, "Hey Brandon, I watched your most recent YouTube video, and it was amazing." And that is a great feeling to have that kind of support from family. But I will also say this. There was a lot of friction when I first started heading in this direction. I would post photos of myself with my shirt off, and my family didn't like that, especially considering that my dad was a pastor in a small town. And my mom was very disapproving of me when I decided to drop out of college to pursue doing this social media, personal training, fitness coaching thing full time. And I don't blame them for being skeptical at the very beginning. At the end of the day, you are going to be on your own path. Nobody is going to see the world quite like you, and you can't expect people to. Some people are going to give you the best advice that they can, and it's still going to be the wrong advice. I always struggled, feeling like I wasn't fully understood, and that irritated me until I realized that every person that is on a path for greatness feels this way. Everybody who decides to go against the grain feels this way, and you can't expect everybody to understand why you do what you do. When I first bought my Hellcat Red Eye at 23 years old, people didn't think that that was a smart decision. They thought that it was materialistic. They thought I was crazy for buying a car like that when I was this young. When I spent tens of thousands of dollars on a Rolex, people don't understand that decision, but that's okay. I don't expect them to. There's a reason why I do the things that I do. There's a reason why I think the way that I think, and that has ultimately led me to the success that I have right now. Having my Rolex on my wrist reminds me of so many different things. It reminds me of the work that I have had to put in all by myself. And it also reminds me that I can break through my own limiting beliefs and go against the advice of other people to achieve things that I never thought possible and that other people would never think would be possible. The next question says, besides being a Christian and a virgin, what does your dream wife look like? I'll be honest with you guys, I have got pretty high standards. I need a woman that is active. I want a woman that is very beautiful. I want a woman who loves the Lord a lot, and that already makes for a very small percentage of the population. But some of the things that make my ideal wife even more rare is the fact that I don't want a woman that is a constant and destructive tornado of emotions. I want a woman that is steadfast in her faith so that she is able to trust in God fully with things. And when you find a woman like that, I believe that they should bring you a strong sense of peace, not mayhem. This is why I feel like I only need one date with most women in order to determine whether or not I think that we should continue pursuing the relationship. Because if they don't bring me that sense of peace on a first date, if I sense any sort of toxicity of emotion or erratic behavior, I'm out of there. I want a woman that is going to propel me further in my life and going to help me achieve my dreams, my goals, and my ambitions, and not hold me back like I feel so many women hold men back from achieving what they actually want to achieve in life. What would you do if you had differing political views in a relationship? Honestly, this just depends on the level of disagreement. If somebody in a relationship is a completely different political party than me, they're on a complete opposite end of the aisle, They don't even share the same views with me on things like abortion or what a traditional relationship should look like. It's simply not going to work. Like, if we don't have alignment on morals and principles that go with, I mean, this goes pretty well with how I answered the last question, but think about the whole COVID situation. You know, women were staying at home, watching TV, watching the news stations that were fear-mongering, and the woman buys into it, and pretty soon she wants the entire house to get vaccinated. I don't want a woman that pays close attention to current events. I don't want a woman that pays close attention to the news or that is super political on either end of the spectrum, super conservative or super liberal. I just think that that's a red flag in and of itself. What do you think is God's opinion on man's pursuit for money, fame, and materialism? I think that it's quite clear that having a lot of money and seeking to be successful and even having a lot of things, you know, being materialistic, it's not wrong in and of itself. It's the worship of those things above God. When those things become your God, that is when they become a problem. And that is a constant battle that we all have to fight. I also think that more people struggle with laziness in today's society than with materialism. I think that in today's society, the average person, even somebody that would be considered poor, is actually extremely well off when compared to the people back in Jesus's day. So every single one of us would be considered very well off. So we all need to beware of laziness. We all need to beware of pride. We all need to beware of greed. It's a tightrope walk. What do you do for your shoulders? Your shoulders are insane. I appreciate it. The shoulders are a key to building a masculine physique, and it definitely has been one of my primary focuses over the past couple years. I do 3 different exercises for my shoulders. I do shoulder press, lateral raises, and rear delt flies. You have to train every head of the delt. I usually train rear delts on back day towards the end of it. I do overhead press either with dumbbells or with a shoulder press. I do lateral raises either with cables or a lateral raise machine or even with dumbbells. It's a very simple setup, but I keep the frequency for my shoulders quite high. My split is chest and shoulders, back, rest, shoulders, arms, legs, rest, and then repeat. So as you can see, I'm getting quite a bit of frequency on the shoulders, but very, very little exercise selection. I don't do a whole lot of different crazy exercises for my shoulders. Me and my girl broke up. I'm trying to move on, but it's hard. Any advice? I have full YouTube videos on this, and you can feel free to go check those out. I won't go super in depth here, but what I will tell you is that the sooner that you can get over this woman, the better. Except that she wasn't the one for you. And God has a plan for you, and you are still on that plan, no matter how lost you may feel. The next thing that I will say is that the easiest and the quickest way to get over your ex is to pray her into the hands of another man. Pray for her well-being. Don't harbor any bitterness towards her, and do not lust after her once she is gone. Pray that she finds another man and that they will be a better fit than you guys were. This will force you to get over her faster. What age do you hope to have kids by? This is one of the ones I do not put much thought into. Financially, I am currently ready for children, but whenever God decides I am ready, I will do it. Because if you plan too much on this side of things, you may end up preemptively choosing a woman that wasn't the best choice just to meet your timeline. And that would not be wise, my friend. This is one that I totally hand over to God. I say, hey, God, give me the woman first, and then we'll focus on that. I'm saving myself for marriage. How soon do you bring that up with people to not waste time? I always bring it up on the first date. I understand why you might be incredibly, skeptical, or why you might be timid to bring it up on a first date, especially being a woman. But I would say that most men aren't going to stick around. If you're committed to maintaining your purity, they are not going to continue to go out and spend money on dates with you. That's just the sad reality. Hopefully, with the current revival that seems to be sweeping over the United States, that will change and more people will start living this way. But I would bring it up as soon as possible. You need to get a really good idea of where somebody's morals and values are at by speaking on this topic soon. And it'll just weed out the bad options. Do you think that your platform has made it harder for you to date? I will be honest with you guys, and I'm not trying to be pompous or arrogant, but I do have a lot of options. Like, I think that my issue, and the reason why I don't currently have a woman, why I haven't found my wife yet, is because I have incredibly high standards. That, combined with the current state of the modern woman, makes a woman hard to find. If anything, I have found that my social media tends to help me get the attention of women. They see you as having high status. They see that you're successful. You know, I have a lot of women reach out to me through Instagram, and I will go out on dates with these women. But like I have said, I still just have not found the one yet. I've met some great women. They just weren't my woman. How can anyone pray for their enemy while not feeling anger for their enemy's sins? You can feel anger for somebody else's sin. This whole idea that anger in and of itself is evil and wrong is completely incorrect. Your God is an angry God, and yet your God is all good. Your God is perfect. You can burn with a righteous wrath at the injustice of the world. It's when you start pointing that finger at somebody else, instead of seeing the brokenness that is in all of us and the brokenness that is in you yourself, that things become tricky. Every time I am incredibly frustrated, whenever I am infuriated, I just try to put things in perspective and realize how much it puts me in front of a mirror and shows me all of the ways that I fall short as well. How old were you when you first started making good money? I've been making good money for about the past 3 years now. And by good money, I mean 6 figures plus. You know, I used to think that $10,000 a month was a crap ton of money, but obviously when you own your own business and you continue to scale, you realize that that's just the beginning. And if you've chosen to pursue your self-betterment in every aspect of your life, you're not going to stop at $10,000 per month. You're going to continue to make more and more money if you continue to learn more and become a more valuable member of society through developing skills, as long as you continue to put the work in. When was your last relationship and what did you learn from it? So my last relationship was not public at all. In fact, I don't think I ever posted about it, like not even once. But the biggest thing that I learned was something that I've already learned from previous relationships before, but it seems like I just keep having to relearn the same thing over and over again, which is just because you fall for someone and you are genuinely obsessed with them and you click so well and you truly believe that this person was put on this green earth for you and that God put them there in your life so that you could get married and have babies, it doesn't mean that it's true. I have fallen in love at first sight now multiple times. And obviously, these relationships came to an end. And it's clear now, looking back on it, that they weren't the person for me. So if I could pass one thing along to you, it would be, don't always trust your heart. Trust God. What's your take on your future wife taking their maiden name with yours? No, that is ridiculous. She's getting my last name, she's getting a prenup, and if she doesn't like it, she's not getting anything at all. Do you feel hopeful or concerned about the direction the world is heading in? I think that it's really easy to get discouraged, especially with how much access we have to current events that are going on throughout the entire world. I truly do believe that the world right now is a much better place. In fact, I believe that it's probably the safest it's ever been, but news travels quicker than ever, and I think it's super important to remember that we're living in a social media society where the whole world is connected. You feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders when you open up your phone. Even just 100 years ago, you would have barely had any idea what was going on the other half of the world. Be very careful to guard your energy, and don't let things that you come across that are happening in the world bear you down in your own life when you have no power over what's going on. I am very optimistic for the future, and I will continue to choose optimism because even though we as humans are incredibly wretched, I choose to put active work into seeing the good that is in us, the good that has been there since our creation, when we were made in the image of God, and God said, "It is good." I choose to be an optimist. When should you feel confident and sure enough to get into a relationship? I think that you should feel sure enough to get into a relationship when you have done a good job at controlling your own desires, when you have learned how to work hard, and when you have learned that your partner is not going to solve all of your problems. In fact, they may even make your life more difficult at points. Once you have learned to be alone with yourself and keep the promises that you make to yourself, once you have the maturity to realize that, I think that you should have quite a bit of confidence to get involved in a relationship. I hope you guys enjoyed this Q&A. Make sure to drop a like on the video down below. Drop a singular thumbs up in the comment section if you watched all the way through this video till the end, because if you did, you've got an attention span of steel, my friend, and I want to give you props for that. Have a good one, guys, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.